Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to discuss, should you hire a VA, and if so, how do I go about it? So for those of you guys who are new to my channel, I discuss how to dropship on different platforms such as Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, Amazon, stuff like that. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar even what dropshipping is selling an item without having to hold any inventory in stock, making a very low risk business model and easy for anyone to get started, especially now in this what we call a recession. Doesn't require any upfront money, just a little bit of a credit card, maybe just if you got a credit card, really no upfront money, and you're good to go. This is a little bit more of an advanced video for people who are not, who are already dropshipping or who are in a type of e-commerce business. And I'm going to discuss here, should you hire a VA? I'm going to go ahead and I'll dive right into it. So let's first get into the fact of what is a VA. What is a VA? VA stands for a virtual assistant. So a virtual assistant is basically, someone who you can hire that's overseas, such as the Philippines, Pakistan, any of these places where you can find where the hourly rate for them is lower. So meaning in average, let's say, I don't know how much people get paid, maybe $15 an hour in the U.S., depending on the state, whatever, $10, $15, $20 an hour. They get paid, depending on which region you are, anywhere between $2 an hour to like $8 an hour. That's $8 an hour is actually a really expensive one, but you get basically what I'm saying. You get to pay them for a lot less because their dollar value is worth more than ours. Ours is more inflated. So in the United States, which is a win-win for the ones who are overseas, because they are getting a fair wage, as we are then also able to hire people for our businesses who are at a low cost, versus if we would hire someone you could hire someone who lived in the U.S. When should you go about hiring a VA? So, okay, I have a business. I've been doing it for however long. Maybe I even just started. When would be a good time to hire a VA? That's really what I was going to talk about. So through my experience, in the beginning, I actually regret not having I run a virtual assistant earlier. I was taking on too much stuff and I had too much work. Okay, so as I said, have too much work or you just want to scale. Let me talk about this more in depth, because there's two ways in which you could hire a VA. I mean, obviously you could hire a VA whenever you want, but if you're very early on, you could also get on and you could also have a VA, especially if you're working a 9 to 5 and you don't really have time to do a lot of this stuff, but you could still hire a VA. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do it. So when I first started was that I didn't really know much about VAs. I was kind of a little nervous. Maybe I was also being a little frugal. I didn't really understand, but I didn't realize how much a VA will help me scale my business, and also how much more hands-off and how much more free time that I would have to make a really automate my business. So I remember I hired my first VA, and it was when I had a ton of work, and I still didn't even give him a lot of work. It was only an hour or two at a time, because I was I want to know my business. So I do believe that you should know your business well enough, or know what you're doing before hiring a VA, but it's almost as if you have too much work. But now you just want to scale. Okay, so let's say I want to give you an example here. I want to give an example of someone who just gets started, who's working still a 9 to 5, has kids, or doesn't even have kids, or basically is very busy during the day doing, whatever they're doing. They are busy and they are not able to whatever, but they still want to start a, they still want to start an online business, okay? And everyone should be starting a side hustle. Even if it's not your main business, everyone should be doing it, because look at this economy now. We need more money to, just for our day-to-day. So let's say that I'm that person. That's where I'm going to go into my next slide. How to pay your VA. So there's profit share versus hourly. So in the beginning, because I was scaled enough and I didn't get a VA and I wasn't really accustomed to that world, I paid hourly for all my VAs. All my VAs paid hourly. And I think when you're in a long-term scale, basically if you're you're already making X amount of money, hourly is actually cheaper than what I'm going to tell as a profit share. Profit share is basically then you split up. So normally if I would hire a VA, say, listen, I'm not going to pay you any money, but let's say I want someone from Mercari, right? This is very big, as a Mercari. Okay, I want you to list on Mercari, and I want you to do all the stuff, and I'm going to give you a 50-50 split. I'm not telling you how to do your split. I'm not telling you what to do your split. I'm not saying 50-50 is up in the way to do. A lot of people do 60-40, 70-30, depending on what it is. I have stores where I do a 70-30 because I do most of the work and they are just listing. So that's something that, let's say I have a new Mercari account that I want to open. Because, also another way to scale your business is having more than one account. I have my account, I have a family member's account, I have this account, whatever, and then you're scaling that. So therefore, what is the best way? What is another great way to scale when you don't have time? Is a profit share. Okay, if you're willing to say, I have time to do the orders, which is what I do, I have time to do the orders and time to upload trackings, you might want to say, I want to do a 70-30. If you don't have time and you don't want to do any of it, you might want to do a 60-40 or a 50-50 and profit share and give them that motivation. Therefore, they are then motivated to do the work because they work off of commission only. So you could actually there's literally, because of profit share, there's no reason why one shouldn't really hire a VA if they're interested in doing so. As I give Mercari as the example, I also, could do Poshmark and stuff like that. Once you know and understand the business yourself and you're able to teach it to a VA, that means don't just hire one, right? Don't just hire one and explain, tell them, oh, do this. You have to know the business yourself a little bit, right? So you might want to do it for a little bit and then you outsource it to a VA, and it's a win-win. And that is the ultimate way to scale. If you're at a point so this is why I have both. If you're at a point where you have a business where it's hourly and it ends up working out cheaper for you because if you're scaling all that, a profit share would be more expensive. But if you're still wanting to do that, if still that's the way you want to do it, that's okay. A lot of times after that time, if I have a profit share and I see that they could be making more hourly, I will give them that option if they want hourly or profit share. I always want to keep my VAs happy. That is very side note. You want to keep them happy. They do work for you. Okay. So that, you have an obligation as a boss to be nice to them. I mean, they're people, they're people and you want to make sure that they are treated well because they could always go to somewhere else. And it's just, the right thing to do. And I'm going to go to my last thing is where to hire a VA. So I have 4 places which I want to talk about. One being the one that I recommend the most, then going down. Number 1 is Upwork. I got my first VA off Upwork and when I still use him. He ends up having a brother and other people who he it gave me also to use as well. And I have found the most success with Upwork. I think they are the most professional and they get the job done. The next would be Fiverr. I never use them I use them for little jobs of can you make this banner for me, or can you do this for me, something that little projects that I started. But I think you most definitely can speak with them, and you can definitely get a VA to work on your store. I'm sure that that they're more freelancers, but if you spoke with them and you're like, oh, I want you to do me full time, they would definitely do that. The next is Facebook. Now, Facebook, I actually do not recommend, but you can. And I'm going to tell you why. You guys can take it for face value. I found every VA that I tried to find on Facebook did not serve me well. I think that a lot of times you have to be careful. They're desperate for jobs, which is great. It's great. No, I'm saying it's great that you could offer them a job, but they are desperate for jobs, and they're going to tell you they can do certain things when they can't. They're going to tell you that they can place orders, and they can tell you that they can do product research, and they're going to see that they have no idea what they're doing. I found that a lot with Facebook, and I kind of just don't hire people from Facebook anymore. It's just not, whatever, and I don't find that it works for me. But many people, they're always messaging me and this and that they are available out there. I guess if you train them, you're willing to train them, maybe, it might work out for you, but I'm telling you, it didn't work out for me. And the next is OnlineJobs/PH. I think this is for people, it's only from the Philippines. A lot of people like people in the Philippines. I have more than one region in the Philippines. I work with the Philippines, Pakistan, different regions search for different, whatever. I think Philippines is actually the cheapest if you're doing hourly. I personally have never used it myself, but I have heard it, and I heard people have a lot of success with it. So that's basically all, for, hiring a VA. I think that, if you are interested in an online business, a VA is definitely a big thing to help you scale, and can definitely only, it really only help you. And if you don't have the money to do hourly, you can definitely consider doing a profit share. Anyway, thank you for listening to this video. If you guys liked it, please consider liking. If you also like my content and you want to hear more about this type of stuff or e-commerce, please comment down below and consider subscribing to my channel. Until next time.